Good morning, my dear students. This is the second class of economic entomology. Today we are going to discuss detailedly the mouth and mouth part modifications, thorax and thoracic appendages. So you all know the insect having a mouth, probably all the organisms except one or two, the primitive organisms. So these are the predominant feature of the head. Why the insects they are having the mouth is for consuming the food. In contrast, in many adult insects, you cannot see the well developed mouth. Or it may be rudimentary, or it may be absent because their lifespans are very small. The adult immediately after the emergence from the eggs, so they will mate and they will reproduce and they will die. They will not consume, especially in the lepidopteran moths. According to the shape and the morphology related to the feeding habits of an insect consumes, the type of food insect consumes, this mouth has been modified into different ways. But the basic features are same for all the insects. So in the insect mouth, you can find there are the following, the basic parts of the mouth. You can find labrum. You can find a pair of maxilla. You can find a pair of mandible. You can find a labium and a hypopharynx. These are the basic structures you can expect all the insects, but they have been modified into different shapes according to the feeding habits. So you can expect a single labrum, the single pair of maxilla, a single pair of mandible, and a labium and a hypopharynx. Yes, these are the basic structures of the mouth. So the mouth, according to the feeding habits, you can classify it into two broad categories. The first category is mandibulate type. Mandibulate type means the insects, they are feeding mainly solid feeds. They having mandibulate. Mandibulate means so they are sharp cutting edges, so they can able to cut the food and eat. Another category is the hostulate type. These insects are preferred to eat liquid food, honey, nectars. Right? We call it as a hostulate type. According to that, the mandibulate type or the hostulate type, because based on the whether insect is eating the solid food or the liquid food, so the basic mouth structures has been modified. So we will discuss one by one. The first we will discuss the mandibulate type. In the mandibulate type mouth part, right, there are three different categories. So generalized or typical chewing type. The chewing type mouth parts, you can expect many insects, especially in adult beetles, grasshoppers, right, and dragonflies. They are chewing, biting and chewing. This is we call it as a generalized mouth parts. So they will bite and chew. First bite, then chew. The second category is they are chewing and lapping. They will not bite it, right? They will chew it and lapping. By lapping, then chewing. Lapping and then chewing is a honeybees. Especially they have the tongue-like structures help to lapping or licking. We call it as a licking. Third category is there and the mandibulosuctoral type. I mean, both will be there. So insect can eat the solid, trap the solid, and suck the sap. This is especially is in sometimes we differentiate into other categories of mouth parts. Mainly, The mandibular type are biting and chewing and lapping mouth parts. These both two are mainly. Sometimes we also classified into three different categories. Second, this is the first category, and we will continue and finish. Then second category, we will start the hostular type. Right? In the mandibular type, there are three different categories. In the chewing mouth parts, the first, biting and chewing. The biting and chewing, you can expect, this is called, we call it as an clippus. Right? When we were studying the head, we were discussing the frontal view, you can find the clippus. Just below the fronts, you can find the clippus. This is not movable, where the labrum, the first insect mouth structure, attaching, right? We call it as the clippus. So next structure we call it as a labrum. This is labrum is like an upper lip, closing the mouth. It's helped to closing the preoral cavity, closing the mouth, right? It's labrum. It is a flap-like structure, like a roof, right? Just to close the mouth, right? It attached with the clippus by articular membrane. These are the articular membrane muscles. They are helping to attach, right? Attach with the clippus. Their role is to pull the food, right? Pull the food into the mouth. So when the insect is trapped the food, the clippus is helping to push the food into the mouth, right? And hold the food position. If the insect want to cut the food, so they want to put it here, like we are holding in the hand and we are biting. Like that, the labrum of insect help to hold the food. So where the mandible can cut, right? Where the mandible can cut, normally we call it as a roof of the preoral cavity. We call it as a labrum. It's the first part, right? So this is, we call it as third head appendages, right? There are 6 sclerites in the head. First is primitive insect cannot identify. Second one is antenna. We were studying the last class. The third head appendage is a labrum. Another one is the fourth head appendage and the second mouth parts, we call it as a mandible. The biting and chewing insect, these mandibles are very strong. It's a pair of mandible you can expect. The both sides pair of mandible. It will not move forward and backward. It will work outside and inside, right? It will work outside and inside by using the muscles. We call it as an adductor muscle and abductor muscles, right? Adductor muscles and abductor muscles. These adductor muscles, right? So adductor muscles mean proximal. This is, we call it as a distal. This is proximal, very close. It's distal, it's far, right? So adductor and abductor muscles. This is, we call it as a first pair of jaw. If you are taking the jaw, it's the first pair of jaw. If you are taking a mouth part, this is a second structure of the mouth part. If you are taking the head appendage, this is a third pair of head appendage. Sorry, third mean fourth pair. Second labrum. Sorry, third labrum. Second is antenna. Third is labrum. Fourth is mandible. Fourth pair of fourth head appendages. First pair of jaw. Second structure of the mouth. It's a very strong one. You can expect the teeth, right? Teeth. So two types of teeth are there. In the distal region, you can find incisor cusps. Cusps means like a molar, teeth. And another one is the molar cusps inside. Inside our mouth, you can find like that. The grinding pad, right? We call it as a grinding pad for the grinding pad. So these are helping to cut the food. While the labrum holding a food, the mouth will cut. So insect, if the insect is biting you, it means mandible is working, it's cutting you. So mandible is articulated by the head by the two joints. One joint is here, one joint is here. Like here, we have two joints. we call it as a dicondylic joints. Dicondylic joints mean it will allow only one direction movement, forward, backward. In our case, the insect is like side movement, not forward and backward, right? Only the side movement we call it as a mandible. So this is also a pair appendage. There is a pair appendage of head. Second structure of the head. It's very strong. It's only helping for the crushing and grinding of food, right? Crushing and grinding of the food. You can expect there are two teeth, molar cusps and incisor cusps, right? Cusps mean is a Greek term to related to the dentist, right? Dentist. Next, third structure of the mouth part is called as maxilla. Maxilla is a singular. It's a pair of maxillae, plural. Right? So this is we call it as a secondary jaws. The first true jaw is mandible. The secondary jaws or second jaw we call it as a maxilla. It is not a strong like a mandible. It's a bit delicate. Its main role is to just sense, taste, chemical nature of the insect. The chemical nature of the prey, the food, especially called as a food, is just assisting the mandible to work on it and also helping to push the food inside, right? Push. So in the maxilla or maxillae, pair of maxillae, you can expect different sclerites. Sclerites means the plate-like structures joined together to form a maxillae. Right? First sclerite we call it as cardo. Right? This is a proximal. Here this cardo joined with the head, right? With the monocondylic joints. Joints. The one joint it hinge, not two. The one joint. Then it can move here and there, right? Whatever the way the bone can join. It's a hardo. It's a triangular plate-like structure. It's hardo. The second plate is like a square rectangle like plate. It's a triangle. It's a rectangular plate like structure. Big one or the larger one we call it as a stipes. This stipes joins with cardo in dicondylic, right? Dicondylic joints or just through the muscles. We cannot expect this a true joints, right? Joints. So the above the stipes, you can find there are two structures. It's divided into two. Inner part we call it as a lacinia and outer part we call it as a gallia. Inner part is we call it as a lacinia. Outer part is we call it as a gallia. The lacinia you can expect small tooth-like structures. The lateral outer region of the stipes, right? The top corner you can find segment-like structures. I have seen the many segments. So we call that this region we call it as a pulpifer. This pulpifer is having this pulp. The pulp is also helping for sense, right? Cleaning of the mouth, insect mouth. Right? So maxilla direct the food into the mouth and hold the food when the mandible is working. So labrum and maxilla holding, and maxilla also another additional job is to taste, right? So taste the insect. Next one is we call it as a labium. It's not a paired one. The fourth structure of the head and sixth head appendage. Right, sixth head appendage we call it as a labium. So six head, there are six sclerites in the head. So sixth appendage is a labium. It's not a pair, but you can find here the pulps. The pulps are paired, but in the maxilla only single pulp. But here is a pair of pulps. Right. So this is we call it as a primitive structure. So these in the medium sclerite, they have the same sclerite-like structure in maxilla. We call it, sometimes you can expect the postmentum and prementum. Some in literature it says it's divided into three mentum. One is submentum, it's a basal sclera jointing with the head capsule, two joint, dichontolic joints. Right? Submentum and mentum. The primitive or some literature you can find is a postmentum. The basal structure. Above the basal structure, you can expect the prementum. The prementum is consisting different parts: pulps and glossa and paraglossa. Right? So there are two lobe structure. Right? Distally we call it as a paraglossa, and inside inner region proximally we call it as a glossa. Proximally mean very close. Distal mean very far. So distally we call it as a paraglossa, and inside proximally we call it as a glossa. These also are pair. Here you can find pair structures. Two lobster-like structure in the tip portion of the labia. Their task is also tasting and also pushing the food inside the mouth, and they are acting as lower roof, closing the mouth, lower roof. Right? So pulps are helping. Here the pulps you can find there are three segments. In the maxillary pulp you can find there are five segments. You have to be very clear on these things, right? To identify if the specimens are set under the microscope, you have to identify properly, right? You have to identify properly. Some insect, this paraglossa and the glossa join together form a structure we call it as a ligula. This ligula is prominent in the lapping mouth parts in honeybees, right? We call it as a lacking or the licking tongue. They are forming the tongues. Right? We call it as a glossa and paraglossa joined together form a ligula structure. The hypopharynx, like our tongue-like structure, it's there inside the mouth. Right? This is fifth mouth structure. This is not a head appendage, right? It is not a head appendage. In between, so in the middle portion of the mouth, you can find, so it's a tongue-like organ, right? This is salivary ducts, where the salivary duct is open. So while the mandibles ground the food very thoroughly, ligula will help to mix the food with saliva. Right? Mix the food with saliva for digestion. Like our tongue is how it is working. We call it as a hypopharynx. So these are the five basic structures of the mouth parts. So these basic type of mouth parts are different from insect to insect according to the feeding habits. This biting, chewing type we have discussed now how it is. So this is the organization of the biting and chewing mouth. Right? This is an organization, the complete organization of the biting and chewing. Right? Complete organization of the biting and chewing. So here you can find it how it is organized. The top portion is we call it as a labrum. Next you can find the mandibles. After that, below the mandible you can find pair of maxilla. Pair of maxilla here. Below that you can find the lower roof or the bottom roof, we call it as a labia. So the middle portion you can find the hypopharynx. So this is a third head appendage. This is fourth head appendage. This is a fifth head appendage. This is a sixth head appendage. Right? You have to be very clear on it. Right? So this is the third head appendage. Right? This is the fourth head appendage. This is a fifth head appendage. This is a sixth head appendage. right? This is a 6-head appendage. Six-head appendage. So you have to be very clear on these things. This is the first mouth, second hostular type mouth modification. So sorry, the second mandibular type mouth modification is chewing and lapping. So one is biting and chewing, another one is a chewing and lapping. There are two types. So mandibulate type. So here, the modifications of basic structures, labrum and mandibles, are as a biting and chewing mouth parts. Labrum and mandible the same, but the crush and the shape, so they are helping for crushing and shaping the wax of the home building, the honeybees. Maxilla and labia joined together form maxillolabial. And I told you the glossa and paraglossa joined together to form a lapping tongue of this here. Tucalia and pulpy elongated flexible hair glossa of labia. Tongue like it's an explanation how this mouth has been modified, right? The glossa terminates into small circular spoon-shaped lobe called spoon here, right? Salivary canal here. So the paraglossa and glossa to go form together galea. So lacinia here labial pulps. So all together to form the tongue. Here you can find it here, chewing and lapping, right? Mandibles. So honeybees, mandibles perform the task. Mandible perform the lipping, mandible and labrum, right? So labrum and mandibles for lipping purposes. Once is lip it, so this is then again chewing by helping of this maxillary and the labia, right? Helping of maxillary and the labia. The second hostulate type modification, you can expect piercing and sucking because these insects are going to eat the liquid foods. If these insects are going to eat the liquid food, the piercing and sucking is the mouth. First pierce, then sucking the sap. The piercing and sucking mouth part also you can expect. So there are two, right? There are two categories. One is a bug type, another one is there the mosquito type. The bug type and the mosquito type, right? So structural differentiations are there. Structural differentiations are there. The third category is there rasping and sucking. So nowadays, if you are going the advanced literatures, rasping and sucking may not be present because they are telling that this rasping and sucking also the piercing and sucking. This is especially in thrips. Another one is the sponging type, especially in the house flies, sponging mouth parts. Another category is the siphoning type mouth parts, like a tusk in elephants, moths and butterflies. We will discuss one by one how it has been modified in the liquid feeding insect. First category, piercing and sucking, because their task is to suck the sap, nectar, blood in according to the different insect groups. This mouth part is also called as a beak or stylet. Beaks or stylet. Stylet means the very sharp the aperture, right? Very sharp instrument-like structures there in the mouth due to the modification of mandible and maxilla and labia together, joined together to form a piercing appendage, piercing aperture. Here, the labium projects downward from the anterior part of the head like a beak. Here is the labium is found as a beak-like. You can find it here. Labium is like a beak. Inside the labium, so labium you can expect the 4-segmented one. So at the base of the labium is a triangular flap-like structure we call it as a labrum. Here the labrum is present end of the labia. That's the modification. Labrum and there. Here the labrum is there. It's a small. So labium is there, long structure, tube-like structure. So projections. So labium is neither involved in piercing and sucking. Labium will not involve, but the role of labium is forming a cover for the stylet. Is forming the cover for the stylet. Mandible and maxilla are modified to form a needle-like structure. Here you can find inside. It's a sheath. Inside the sheath you can find the needle-like structure. Mandible and labrum joined together to form needle-like structure. Right? This is helpful for piercing and sucking. This is a bug type. Mosquito type is something different. Here you can find, so the tips of the stylet may be minute teeth. This means mandibles, you know, mandible and labrum modified, right? Mandible and labrum is modified. I'm sorry, mandible and maxilla to modified here. Mandible and maxilla modified to form a stylet. The mandible you can find small teeth. That teeth you can expect here, the top portion. Small like teeth to help to scrape or started to penetrate the host tissue surface, right? Host surface. It's a double grooved one. In the maxilla stylet, a double grooved for surfaces and forming the two cavity. One is salivary cavity, other one is food cavity. Here two cavity. Here the food channel. This one is a salivary channel. Two food channel and salivary channel. Right? So this, when closely opposed, the two channels, what will happen is they will, through the mandible teeth they are having the teeth. These teeth pierce the plant cell surface, and then by using the head as a pump, right, very help to insert that stylet inside the host, is penetrating and inside. While inserting the stylet, you see the labium will fold and sheath. It's a labium sheath. The folding and moving upward through the stylet. So you can expect there are two cavities. One is salivary cavity, other one is food canal. Through the salivary canal, they will inject the saliva into the host. Why? To prevent the coagulation. First category to coagulation, especially. So if the plant sap is there, then the start plant. If the plant is reacting, oh, this is insect is a foreign one. Insect stylet is a foreign one. To prevent the coagulation around the stylet. Otherwise, it cannot pull out the stylet, no, immediately. So they will put the coagulants. So this will disintegrate and not allow to coagulate that region, thicken the region. Then through the food channel, they will suck the sap. Suck is in the still liquid because it's anticoagulants are there. So liquid suck. So here you can find in the head, they are developing the suck pump, mandibular suctoral pump, right? Not Siberial pump structure. It is well developed in mosquitoes, not in bugs, right? Saliva and enzymes. So inserted into that plant. While they are injecting the saliva, they are also transmitting the viruses. The saliva is toxic to plant. That's how the bugs are transmitting the viruses. Even mosquito transmitting the piercing, sucking insects are very dangerous ones. Right? Downward. Another category is the mosquito type. The mosquito type here, labium. But here you can find it, the labium, which is grooved, forming the gutter which encloses a sixth stylet. So labium here also forming the sheath. Inside the sheath, you can find the maxillary pulps and the mandible. There are six stylet, right? Six stylet. The stylet are composed of labrum, epipharynx, hypopharynx, two maxilla, two mandible. 2, 4, 5, 6. There are 6, right? 6 stylet inside the labium. One is labrum, other one is mandible, other one is maxilla, hypopharynx and epipharynx. All together to form a 6 stylet. This 6 stylet to forming the groove 2 region. One is also salivary canal, other one is we call it as food channel. Here labrum and epipharynx closing the food channel. Labrum and epipharynx are forming the food channel. Hypopharynx, salivary canals. Hypopharynx, salivary canal. Maxilla and mandibles go into cut the host surfaces to and penetration. Both maxillary stylet and mandibular stylets, right? Maxillary stylet and mandibular stylet are here like a saw-like structure. Where you can find mandibular stylet and maxillary stylet. These regions are helping to pierce. So what are they forming the two canals? One is labrum and epipharynx. Labrum and epipharynx. Hypopharynx. They are forming the two channels. Maxilla and mandibles, they are forming tooth-like piercing aperture. Labial role is to forming a sheath. The both mosquito type and bug type, both labium is forming the sheath. You should understand, right? So here they are mosquito. What they will do, the stylet inserted into the host skin. The stylet who are forming the stylets? The maxilla stylet and mandibular stylet. So they having the sharp-like structures, teeth. So they will cut the skin and help to penetrate the stylet. The stylet is forming of the six. All the mandible and maxilla also will go inside, right? Here. So maxilla and mandibles and epipharynx, hypopharynx are forming the stylet now. They all together go in, penetrate into the sheath, into the flesh of an insect. Once it's penetrated into the flesh of a horse, what will happen through the salivary channel? They will eject saliva. This saliva consisting anesthetic. Anesthetic means that's what you will not feel the pain while the mosquito is biting. Some people will feel, or many people will not feel. It's anesthetic. Anticoagulants, otherwise blood will coagulate. So it should prevent the coagulation. They are producing anticoagulants, and also they are transmitting pathogens and toxins through the saliva, right? Once the fully saliva is mixed with the blood, that's not coagulated, then the mosquito is going to suck the blood. Mosquito is going to suck the blood. So for the suck the blood, they need a sucking aperture, right? We call it as a sibarial pump. This sibarial pump is inside the head, right? Sibarial pump is inside the head of both bugs and mosquito. In the mosquito is well developed, right? Well developed. So third category is their rasping and sucking mouth parts. We call it as a thrips. So this is an asymmetric type of mouth part because here right mandible is absent. Only the one mandible. Therefore, they are rasping, not biting and chewing, or not sucking. They are rasping. Once the mandible is rasped, then they are sucking. That's what is the confusion, because whether it is under the solid fooder or liquid feeder, because it's showing the both, but it's an asymmetric. Right mandible is absent. So only 3 stylet instead of 6 stylet. You can find 2 maxilla and the left mandible. Only 3 stylets are there, right? So stylets, so mandible and maxilla helping to scrub the region. While scrubbing, the liquid from the leaves will come out. Then they will suck, right? They will suck. That's a rasping and sucking in thrips, especially Thysanoptera. You will study this order in insects. The sponging type mouth part. Sponging type mouth part is you can expect in the flies, dipterans. So house flies, while you would have seen that in the home, even sometimes you may feel the house flies will come and sit on your skin or hand. If you're observing that how they are eating, right? So they will eat the liquids, right? So they will eat the liquids, and the type of meal exposed for the food and blood or anything. How they are eating is they have the different structures, right? Different structures means, so the sponging like structure. Sponging like structure is there the head. So in the mouth parts, like we call it as pseudotrachea, right? We should call it as a pseudotrachea. The pseudotrachea in the top is like a mopper, like our mopper is there, no? Like a mopper. So how it is mopper is functioning is designed based on these how flies. They are producing liquid out, which means saliva, it's ejection of saliva, while the digested food content is sucked. Right? You can expect here. This is a salivary duct. In this next picture you see. So proboscis, we call it as a proboscis. The proboscis, not the true proboscis. True proboscis, you can expect the siphoning type mouth parts. So here, the hypopharynx, labrum is forming the food channel. Hypopharynx is forming the salivary channel. So this salivary channel and the food channel are differentiated. At the maxilla presented by single segmented maxillae pulpi, the end of the proboscis is enlarged and sponge-like structure. So here the maxilla, right? So single segmented maxillary pulpi is here. Normally maxillary pulpi you can expect there are 5 segments are there maxillary. This is a single segmented. It's an exceptional case. Single segmented maxillary pulpi is there. This maxillary pulpi enlarged to forming the mopping like structure. Lobe, we call it as a two lobe sucking pad. We call it sucking pad. In the sucking pad, you can find a lot of transverse capillary canals. A lot of transverse capillary canal. This capillary canal we call it as a pseudotrachea. So trachea-like structure, we call that's what pseudotrachea. So through the salivary channel, they are ejecting the saliva into the food. Once the food is disintegrated or fermented, then by pressing like this, mopping through the maxillary pulp, so having this suction pad now, put it that one, through the pseudotrachea, they are sucking, by sucking inside the liquid. That is, we call it as a sponging type mouthpart in flies. The sponging type mouthpart is, you can find that here, there are several structures. This is called pseudotrachea. This sometimes modified, it will show the variations according to the type of liquid they are sucking. So horsefly and tasty fly, especially horsefly, they are blood suckers, right? Sponging type mouth parts, so what they will do is they will pierce the skin and allow the blood will come out, right? So they have the blade-like structure, the mandible like a blade, like slices, cutting. The blood is coming out, then they will suck. So it means they are having the tooth-like structure, sharp structures. So tasty flies, also the labilla, they are forming the teeth. Labilla is labium. Then suck the blood. So yeah, housefly is something different, right? Something they need not to pierce the hose. Whatever the food material is there, they eject the saliva and they can suck. But horsefly, they need the food. Food is there inside the body. So they have to cut the skin and allow the blood to come out. That's how the cattles, and if you are going there in the cattles and horses, you can find some injuries and blood spots. This is because of the horseflies and tasty flies. Another category is there. Fourth category is the sponging. Sponging means, sorry, not sponging, siphoning type mouthparts. The siphoning type mouthparts, you can expect moths and butterfly, especially to suck the nectar from the flowers. Right? Nectar from the flowers. Sometimes some insect you can expect they can drink the water and salt and minerals, especially birds and butterfly and moths. Main target is to suck the nectar. It's very prominent in many moths, butterflies, few moths. Many moths you cannot expect mouth parts, rudimentary. Here, the mouth part consists of elongated sucking tube. Sucking tube. This is what called as a proboscis. This proboscis is formed by two greatly elongated gallia of maxillae. The maxillae you can find gallia and lecinia. Right? So this gallia and lecinia to form the ligula in honeybees. Here galliae of the maxilla. Galliae of the maxilla to form the proboscis by interlocking the spines and hooks. Two maxilla galliae joined together to form a canal-like structure. This elongated like a tube. Right? The proboscis is coiled. It can rotate. And it is under the mouth. That's what in the normally butterflies you cannot find it. When they are drinking the nectar in the food, they will again pump the blood into the proboscis. Due to the pressure, it will elongate like a tube, like a straw. It put in the nectar flower, and from the ova, the nectar will be there. Then they are sucking, right? Sucking. So this is the some insects. So pumping the blood. That's what I told you. Pumping the blood into galliae, and the proboscis extend. Then they will suck it. Here you can find the labial pulpi and maxillary pulpi, or sometimes it's not present. Right? Not present. This is siphoning type mouth parts. Here you can find the butterflies while they are eating here. You see proboscis is going inside the flower. Otherwise it is coiled, it is under the head. This is proboscis. Right? This proboscis form. This is a food channel. Right? Food channel forming interlocking. So interlocking grooves by, so what is this forming? So galliae of the maxillae. So gallia of the maxilla is forming the gallia base, gallia of the maxilla forming the food channel proboscis. Other mouth categories, it was earlier, it is there, but I explained that one, right? This is mandibular type, right? The mandibular type, mandibulosuctoral type. I classified here. But some literature is saying it's another category of mouth parts, right? Other category of mouth parts. In the other category of mouth parts, you can find it, this mandibulosuctoral in the antlion. Antlion, definitely you could have seen that one in your home, in your backside of the homes, right? They are forming like this, right? They are forming like, they will draw like bird-like structures, these insects. Their mandibles are very prominent, right? Very tooth, huge, internal tooth like forceps, right? So they will sit like this. When the ant or small insects going above the soil surfaces, they will just trap using this mandible, trap it, and then what they will do, they will not eat, they will not suck the liquid from these insects. That's how it's explained here. So mandibulosuctoral, mandibles will work to hold the prey, and then the maxilla will help to suck the sap from these. This is also dragonfly larva also. Dragonfly larva we call it as a gnats, aquatic insects. They have the tooth-like mandibles and hooks. This is something modified, but commonly it be called as a mandibular type. Some literature saying it's other categories of mouth. It's not. So this is the end of the mouth, right? So normally you would have explained that. So normally my mouth parts are something different. So normally used for the food purposes, taking the food from the insect. So there are basic structures are there: labrum and pair of mandible, pair of maxilla, and labium, hypopharynx and epipharynx. Sometimes hypopharynx only. So basic structures. According to the basic structures, according to the the basic structures, there are 5. The feeding habits you can classify into 2, mandibular type and hostular type. The mandibular type you can study the 3 or sometimes 2, right? Mandibular types are chewing type and chewing and lapping type. And hostular type you have studied the 5 categories, right? One is, first category is piercing and sucking, bug type. Piercing and sucking, mosquito type, right? Rasping and sucking, thrips. Sponging type, flies. Siphoning type, moths and butterflies. These are the simple, the basics of the mouth parts and mouth parts modification. The modifications I explained very clearly, so you can read from the slides. Right, that's all for the mouth parts. This is the end of the mouth part. So then we can go for an insect thorax. The head is over. Now it's in the thorax. Right? In the head region, you can expect the antenna and compound eye and mouth parts. Right? So in the thorax, so insect thorax is a second. The tachmosis, in the insect tachmosis, you can expect second region of the insect body is a thorax. So insect thorax, you can expect there are 3 segments, thorax 3 segments. So this is we call it as a prothorax, mesothorax and metathorax. Prothorax, mesothorax and metathorax. So in the thoracic region is covered by 3 plates, right? In the dorsal region of the plate, we call it as a nota. Right, dorsal region of the insect thorax we call it as a nota. If it is present in the prothorax, we call it as a pronota. Right, so the notum joined together to form a plate, we call it as a piliron. Right, piliron. So this lateral region of the scleroid we call it as a terga. Lateral region of the thoracic plate we call it as a terga. Then each and every thoracic segment, so you can find insect legs. So each and every place, first pronotum, mesonotum or metanotum, prothorax, mesothorax, metathorax. In the prothorax, you can expect 4 legs, pair of 4 legs. Mesothorax, you can expect pair of middle legs. The metathorax, you can expect hind legs, 3 pairs of legs. Right? So we will see. So in the thorax, you can expect 3 pairs of legs. The 3 pairs of legs, the legs has been modified according to the insect habitat for the successful survival of the insects. So they need to move very fastly, escape from the prey. Sometimes they need to jump, sometimes it need to walk, sometimes it need to swim. So according to the type of insect and the habitat and the purpose, the thorax, the legs are modified. So legs is helping for locomotion. So insect thoracic, basic function of the thoracic is locomotion. Wings will be there, legs will be there. Wings are helping for flying, thorax, legs are helping for movement. So normally if you are taking a leg, so there are 6 different parts, basic structure in a leg. The first structure, right, very small triangular structure, it is helping to join with the thorax, we call it as a hoxa. Second segment we call it as a trochanda. This trochanda is varies with insect to insect. For example, if you are taking this insect, grasshoppers, jumping legs, hind leg is very jumping legs. This trochanda is very bigger, very strong for jumping, right? And another one is their tibia. coxa, trochanter, femur. This is a femur. Trochanter is smaller. The femur is bigger one. Sorry, femur in the grasshoppers is very bigger one. Trochanter is small, right? Trochanter is very small. Cannot differentiate. This is femur. This one is region we call it as a tibia. Tibia also you can find there are strong muscles, some in jumping insects, so it helps to leap, push, giving the pressure. Tibia. Last segment is called tarsus. In the tarsus is different segments will be there. We call it as a tarsomere. Individual segment we call it tarsomere. If you are compare it, you can see compare it. Antenna and leg. Antenna also you can find scape, pedicel, flagellum. There are 3. Here also you can see there are 6 segments. 1, 2, 3, sorry, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sometimes tarsomeres will be there. Tarsomere 6. Another specific modification will be there in the end of the tarsomere. We call it as an aerolium and embodium. We call it as an insect for the sucking. The insect, if it is walking, they need a hyphal cushion like of a heel, right? They need a cushion to stick. Some insect, you know, walk upside down in the floor, ceilings. They need to stick on that by using some pressure cushion. The aerolium and embodium will be there. The end of the insect. Some insects or claws will develop claw. Tarsomere at the end of that. Therefore, the basic structures are coxa, trochanter, femur, tibia, tarsus. Sometimes tarsomeres, aerolium also they are differentiated. So this according to that, so insect you can classify it into different leg modified according to whether it's walking legs or running legs or grasping legs or digging legs. Some insect need to dig the ground and go inside. Some insect clinking. For example, in the head louse, how it is there in the head, it's clinking and hanging in your hairs. Hearing. Some insects will help for the hearing sound. For in grasshoppers, legs will be here. Swimming. Aquatic living insect, bugs. So they can swim it. And jumping legs, grasshoppers will jump, hind legs. Clasping legs, some insect to hold the prey. Right? Some insects or legs are helping to making sound. The grasshoppers, if you are going there in the grassland, they will make sound. Why? They are rubbing the wings with their legs. Some insect helping for food and collections. For honeybees, they are collecting the pollen and the hind leg they are packing like a pocket in their trousers. They are packing. Though for different purposes, for using for mainly the locomotion, sometimes it's helping for the holding and carrying some antennal cleaning. You will study later, right? Antennal cleaning of honeybees. 4 legs are helping for cleaning their antenna. Hind leg is helping for like a brushing the pollen and keeping as a keep. So these are different modification of the insect legs. So we will see one by cockroaches. Cossorial, we call it as a cossorial or running legs. In all the legs, 3 legs of the cockroaches has been developed for running. They will move very fast. Running leg we call it as a cossorial. Another type is there rapsorial, the 4 legs of praying mantids. Here, this is help to trap the prey. Right? It is helping to trap the prey. We call it as a rapsorial. Right? In the rapsorial legs, right? In the rapsorial legs, so this is like here, like that. From this leg also they develop these JCBs. Nowadays it's working like this, JCBs, because right here they have the strong spines and teeth to call the prey. We call it as a rapsorial, praying mantids, 4 leg of praying mantids. So grasping here, grasping the prey, how it is eating. That's what we call it as a rapsorial. Another category of the hind leg of grasshoppers we call the saltatorial, jumping type. They need the power to leap, right? Femur is pushing towards land. Here the energy is stored. Sorry, the tibia is jumping and femur is storing energy for the jumping legs. They escape from the one area to movement. Some grasshoppers, you cannot expect the wings. They will move one place to another by using the jumping. That's what we call a saltatorial. Head louse, clinking type. Here these tarsus and the tibial region are modified to as a fork, right? Opening and closing like a lock. From that one, they will clink, hanging in the head. This is a region. This tibia, sorry, not a tarsus, is a claw, closed with the tibia. Then here the hair will be trapped. Then they will hanging. The single tarsus, not any tarsomeres. They are single tarsi. Fossorial. It's a fossorial means digging leg. Foreleg of mole cricket. The mole cricket, forelegs, right, is like a rake-like structure. The tibia is modified into rake-like for digging or burrowing legs. Sometimes we call it as a burrowing legs of mole cricket. Natatorial. This is for swimming legs. Swimming legs. We call it as a swimming of some gain water buck, water strider. Right? Here the tibia and the tarsus consisting feather-like hairs. This feather-like hairs will work to swim. Right? Swim. So mainly you can expect the hind leg of this gain water buck, water striders, water diving beetles. They will dive it, right? So because this will helping for swimming. Pollen basket is a hind leg of honeybees. Here the tibia 1, this is a tarsus, tarsomeres. I told you tarsomeres. The tibia and the tarsus and having the lots of hairs. In these hairs, they will pack the pollen. Right? Whatever we are keeping in the pockets, no? So the hind leg of the honeybees, they are keeping, packing, and while from flower to they will move the nest, it will be as like this. In the same body weight of the honeybee, they can carry. Right, two-thirds of the two-thirds is the same weight of the honeybee they will carry by using these legs, pollen glands, for the food. So in the pollen basket, this is the first hind leg of. Other than this, you can find it in the honeybee front leg, foreleg. They have the notches, right, and the flaps. Notches like flaps. In the notches, they will put the antenna here, close it and clean it. The forelegs of antenna of a honeybee is helping for cleaning the antenna. The middle leg, the tarsal region, it's like modified as a brush. And also in the middle leg, you can find they have the strong needle-like aperture. In the tibial end of the tibia, they have the needle-like structures. These needle-like structures helping to open the wax gland. Here the pollen brush in the middle leg, you can find the pollen brush. End of the tarsi, you can find the pollen brush to keep, right? So sweep all the pollen and to make a keep. This is a 3 legs of the honeybee is modified for the different purposes. This is the end of the legs, and you will study further in the practical classes, and you will observe all the legs and the modification under the microscope. The another segment is called as a wing of an insect, right? So in the wing of an insect, So before started to the wing of an insect, right? I am going to stop here. If you want ask any questions here, you can ask. I will continue the wing in the another one more class. You won't ask any question, please ask.